Major moves in the Jiu Jitsu world. ADCC Open this past weekend, Costa Mesa, and man, I gotta tell you guys, there's something in the air with ADCC, and I know you guys can feel that too. So much momentum coming off the ADCC Worlds in Las Vegas last fall, and then kinda nothing for a while from ADCC. Like, there were definitely things going on and there was work being done behind the scenes. And if you kept up with Mo's Instagram live content, then you were probably aware of a lot of that. But really, no big ADCC news until last week when the FloGrappling UFC Fight Pass thing drops. And then ADCC Open in Costa Mesa. Turns out, ADCC has total domination of the sport in mind. And they rolled out the first part of that plan this past weekend with their very first Open here in the United States. Huge turnout, 1,300 competitors almost, just packed. Absolutely packed with competitors, coaches, spectators, full house. And some great performances, man. Big Dan takes double gold again. Bree Stick wins her division for 10th Planet. You have Braylor Grout, Felipe Trovo, everybody out there looking like they're gonna do some serious damage at the trials. But what I really wanna talk about is how important these ADCC Opens are gonna be for the overall strategy of Mo and his crew. And we had a pretty strong indication of the importance of the Opens last week when the news broke about the FloGrappling deal. See, ADCC had just signed a deal to move all of their content over to UFC Fight Pass. They had been on FloGrappling forever. But it looks like, the story that I'm getting at least, that Fight Pass wasn't going to be able to handle the live streams for the Opens the way that they thought they would and the way that ADCC thought they would. And that was essentially the deal breaker that pushed ADCC back into the loving arms of FloGrappling. So Flo comes in on like 2 days notice and they get this stream up and running. They have the brackets running perfectly on their arena platform, right there on the front page of the app. And I thought that all things considered, that FloGrappling actually did a really good job with this. But what I want you to take away from that is how important these Opens are into the overall ADCC strategy. So we've had ADCC Worlds since 1998. First trials wasn't until 2002. Eddie Bravo, by the way, your first North American trials winner. Legend. So now we got the Worlds, which only 16 people per bracket get invited to each year. And you got a few trials tournaments happening around the globe, but nothing on the level of what we have now. So yeah, you got the most prestigious grappling event in the world. You got the real world championship, ADCC. But what you don't have is a stable of athletes growing up and learning to play by these rules and learning the little intricacies that separate the ADCC rules from the IBJJF, for example. So ADCC chugs along for many years, gaining more and more prestige with each event, becoming the real world championship. But still, no way for these athletes to really compete in this rule set and start to refine their competition strategy for these rules. Now, people are starting to get hip to the fact at this time that they got to start committing at least some of their training time without the gi if they want to do well in these ADCCs. They're starting to learn how they want to run practice as they get ready for ADCC, but no one really focused on that rule set as their main training strategy. And most importantly, no one growing up in that rule set. And then here comes Mo Jassim. Okay, I never really know how to pronounce his last name, Mo. I apologize. My name's Mccaghren. I get it. It's our cross to bear. So Mo starts putting together this vision of ADCC being the baddest game in town. He gets the trials elevated to a totally new level, something that honestly is one of the best tournaments in sports, just the trials. And then here comes ADCC 2022. Blew it out of the water. Totally blew it out of the water. Sport's never seen anything like that. Most of us, if we're being honest, didn't even think that was possible. But Mo did. And he packed 15,000 of us into a basketball arena in Las Vegas for 2 days, and we couldn't get enough of it. Suddenly, everything has changed. Mo says to himself, now how do I get this thing to the next level? And he has the idea to run open tournaments. Now all of a sudden, we have ADCC rules for beginners, for kids, for masters. All of a sudden, we have practice rooms, strategizing how they're gonna play this thing the right way. All of a sudden, we have athletes, not just theorizing, but actually getting out there and feeling what it's like to compete under this rule set. All of a sudden, Athletes of all experience levels, winning and losing, and all of the lessons that come along with both of those things, all now under the ADCC rule set. All of a sudden, we have these athletes taking those lessons back in to the training room to get ready for the next one. All of a sudden, we have a real sport.